Welcome to this week's episode of Talk of the Town. My name's Philip Swicegood, and I am back with my good friend and co-host, Dr. Kenneth Harper from Vein Specialist of the South. Now, if you have questions about your veins, maybe you saw a new vein pop up and you just want to get some answers, you want to get some clarity, maybe an opinion from an expert, give my friends at Vein Specialist of the South a call, and they will get you the answers that you deserve. We also want to thank this week's presenting sponsor, which is Piedmont Macon. Piedmont provides comprehensive, quality health care for all of your medical needs. Thanks so much for Piedmont for investing in Central Georgia and making a show like this possible. Now, if it's Saturday morning, 6:30 in the morning, you're waking up and you're just pouring that first cup of coffee, you flip on 13 WMAZ and you wonder, what in the world is Talk of the Town? Here's what you can expect every Saturday morning. A conversation between me, Dr. Harper, and someone in the community with a story that you need to know about. This week, we actually have our second edition of a multi-generation family business story that we are here to share with you. We're here today with Daryl Shadburn, who has a relatively new business that started 106 years ago, and that is Shadburn Upholstery right here in Central Georgia. We're super excited about this conversation. Daryl, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Daryl, you guys have been in business for 106 years, started in 1919, but I've got to ask you before we get into the history of the business.
Yeah, sometimes I'm feeling it.
There you go, there you go.
You look good for having worked that long.
Vampire,
Yeah.
no.
What is it you guys actually do?
We do automotive upholstery. There's furniture upholstery out there, and there's automotive, two different aspects of the upholstery, and there are different parts of the automotive upholstery. There's the headline of the carpet, the seats that we do, but also we do anything that really moves. If you got a four-wheeler, a motorcycle, and stuff like that, we can do it.
And so for those of us that have zero idea what upholstery is, let's just break it down really simple. That is the actual seat or the cushion, is that correct? And how the fabric interacts with it? Is that technically what upholstery is?
Pretty much. You usually, the part of it is vinyl. It can be vinyl, cloth, leather, or whatnot. Also, the foam underneath there can go bad, and that's part of the upholstery work on it. And we can fix the foam if we need to, replace whatever is damaged on the seat. Sometimes people say, no, I got to do, they're afraid that we have to do the whole seat, but no, we might be able to just fix part of it, whatever is needed. And so kind of take a look at it and see what needs to be done.
Do you guys actually do work for large-scale businesses and you're doing like the production work there? Or if someone has an upholstery need, can they come to you directly?
Yeah, we probably do mostly what I call average Joe jobs and all. And we also have done work for like the base, some projects for them. We do it for municipalities, local towns around. Their fleet service work. Per se. Most of that is like they wear out the seats in their trucks, and I say, okay, well, I have options. I can put a very good grade of material on there, make it last a lot longer, or I can go with the original OEM stuff. So I try to give them an option, but try to also do something of quality and make sure it is going to last a long time. That's how I try to keep my customers. They see the quality and realize, hey, I don't mind paying a little bit extra for something that's going to last me a lot extra, longer time.
So when we got out here today, I met your nephew.
Yes, sir.
You're the third generation in the business.
That's correct.
He's fourth generation in the business. So let's look back at the original Shadburns and tell us what you know about him. Did you know your grandfather and how he wound up coming to Macon, and a little bit about that story early on in the business?
Yes, sir. He actually passed away in '76. I did get to spend time with him a little bit. Of course, I was a child. Enjoyed being with him, he always said the same stories and all. But when you're a child, you got the attention of an adult, you soak it in. But he originated in Beaufort, Georgia. He did leather work. He built saddles, the collars to go around the necks of the horses and whatnot, and straps. So that's all it was back then, horse and buggies. And his brother, or I guess my great uncle, was already down here working. And he sent my grandfather a letter. He said, we actually still had it, and we took a copy of it, and I wish I had it for y'all. But he said, I got more work than I handle. Can you come down here and help me out? So he did, and I don't know how everything transpired, but in 1919, he officially became the owner of the business. So whenever he was down here working, they would want the phrase location, location, location is everything. Yep. So at that time, the ones that were driving the horse buggies and all were the doctors and the lawyers. So they're downtown, either on 2nd Street, 3rd Street, and there were stables down there. So he tried to rent a spot that was in between the stables. So, hey, if you need some help, work on this buggy, yeah, I can just take it over to my shop and work on it.
So that's probably why a lot of the car dealerships are down there on 2nd and 3rd Street when cars came along, right?
That's right. And back in the old days, there was a cobblestone roads. Oh, mercy. I imagine that was very rough on those.
Or some dirt roads.
Dirt roads, yeah.
Right, downtown.
But yeah, I mean, back in the day, the car was just coming out when he was in business. And that, things traveled a lot slower then. And so this invention called automobile came out, and he said, I guess, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I guess I'll work on it a little bit. And so that he did. He slowly transformed into the automobile. The more popular it got, it just kind of, I believe there were probably a lot of similarities in the interior of the first cars and the buggies that they had.
Probably it was like a buggy. They put a motor on it, was it?
Pretty much. Right. Yes, sir.
Right.
And so he, in that retrospect, he was a true pioneer because he did not know, there's nobody telling him how to do it.
So how did they navigate? They were in business about 10 years when the Great Depression hit. What's the stories about how they navigated that and survived that?
Well, the Great Depression hit everybody hard. And he was raising a family, 2 girls, 2 boys. Well, I don't think my father had come around by then. But still, so he had to work out of his house and do whatever he had to do to survive. I mean, people nowadays, they don't know what hard is until, like those that had to go through the Depression. And so he started working out of his house and doing whatever he can to support his family. And he slowly built the business from that. Built a 2-story cinder block building right in the backyard, and used the flooring for the upstairs from an old YMCA demolition. And very, very resourceful. He never did throw anything away. I get accused of that sometimes, especially from my wife, but a pack rack of sort. But I guess when you go through the Depression and stuff, everything is of value.
Do you have any pictures of him?
Yes, sir. This is a picture of one of the businesses with him in, I think, some kind of Model T, Model A. He's all dressed up in a suit and got the Shadburn name up there.
And is that at his house or is that downtown?
No, this
Where do
was
we think this is?
before the Depression.
Gotcha.
And so I guess one of the early cars that he worked on.
Yeah.
And I got a picture of like a convertible top or something.
Wow.
Or the frame right there. But here's another picture of him with another area. This was actually in the old Huckabee Body Shop building. And in the background, there are horse collars, what he used to make, and all for the buggies. They're hanging up. And of course, the employees and my grandfather all dressed to the T in the suit and tie. That's something else. I guess that's what they did.
You took your suit and tie off today before you came to work and put on some working clothes, didn't you?
Oh, mercy. Yeah, I guess.
Right.
But that is, I think that building has since, I think it's burnt down or something, or they've remodeled and it's got something else there.
Right. Thanks for sharing those photos.
Yes, sir.
That means a lot.
Daryl, I want to ask you a question about the work that you guys are doing now, specifically relating to potentially classic cars. But first, we have to take a break to hear a word from our sponsor.
I'm a certified health coach who loves helping others. My personal health journey started a little over a year ago. I began by walking, then I started playing pickleball. After losing over 100 pounds, my legs were still bothering me because of pain and bulging veins. I needed help, and all my friends recommended Vein Specialists of the South. I learned at my appointment that vein disease only gets worse without treatment and didn't realize how bad my vein problems were. But the VSS team was there to help and customized a treatment plan that fits my active lifestyle. Every staff member I met during my procedure was informative and caring. They even played my favorite music. My legs looked and felt better right after my procedure. Just a few weeks after my procedure, I was back on the courts doing what I love. If you want better looking and feeling legs, it's time to call the best, Vein Specialist of the South.
Piedmont Macon is proud to be your partner in healthcare, in business and in the community. From our 2 convenient hospitals and ERs, our cardiac program, women's services, and urgent care centers, we provide Middle Georgians with comprehensive care close to home. Our goal is to empower you through great care that's simplified, unified, and easier than ever to access. Our mission is to make a positive difference in every life we touch. We want to be part of your family and your life and to make our community a better place to live.
You already know at Raffield Tire Master we take care of your personal vehicles, but did you know we also install commercial tires? That's right, we install tires on school buses, semi-trucks, logging trucks, tractors, and much more. We make buying commercial tires easy because we deliver. Our commercial tire division is located at the corner of Pionona and Guy Payne Road with the curved roof. So stop by, visit us at RaffieldTire.com or call us at 478-788-7862.
Flint Energies knows safety is the backbone of reliability. To deliver the power you need means doing things right. So we can continue to provide reliable energy and peace of mind. Because safety runs through everything we do. Flint Energies is a Touchstone Energy Cooperative, your source for power and information.
Have some real family fun down on the farm at Lane Southern Orchards. Grab a rocking chair on the porch while the kids play on a farm-themed playground with real tractors. Stroll through our huge indoor roadside market filled with fresh produce, gourmet treats, local wines, craft beers, and authentic souvenirs. Enjoy breakfast and lunch at the Peachtree Cafe. Make sure to save room for our homemade peach cobbler and ice cream. Open daily. Take I-75 to exit 142.
This is the Medical Minute, where we ask Dr. Harper your vein-related questions. Dr. Harper, the question this week is, what is the difference between a spider vein and a varicose vein?
Well, Phillips, we've been working together a long time, and actually, they may not know, but your wife worked with our office a long time until she got into nursing. So, what do you think it is?
Well, I would remind people that I have a marketing degree, but a spider vein is the light superficial vein that kind of looks like a spider web and goes everywhere. So you've probably seen some of those before. A varicose vein, I believe, is a superficial bulging vein that has some discomfort and is prominent and noticeable. Is that fair? That
That
okay?
is really good. And
you go.
some people want to know, well, does insurance cover treatment of veins? And it depends on the size of it. Spider veins are 1 millimeter or less in size. Varicose veins are 3 millimeters or more in size, just from a technical perspective. But if there are significant symptoms with bulging veins, most insurance has some coverage for treatment.
Now, if you want to learn more, please go to veinspecialist.com. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, where we are here with Daryl Shadburn from Shadburn's Upholstery, who we just learned started back in 1919 and even had a place in downtown Macon, Georgia, where they were making the upholstery for horse-drawn carriages. And we've had a fascinating conversation. We're glad you're with us today. Daryl, I've got to ask you, I have a friend of mine who just bought a Model T Ford, and I begged him not to do it. I said, Jimmy, it's a horrible idea because you're going to have so much upholstery work to like go into this. Why in the world would you do this? Is that something you guys do? Do you guys do unique projects like that? And if not, tell me about some of the other cars that you guys have done like that.
Back in the day, yeah, we would have done it when my father was living, and that would have been right up his alley. And we have worked on them. Norman Carter is the guy that works on my convertible top specialist. He has actually done a top like on an old car like that and worked on I think the inside of one. So we're familiar with it, but it's one of those things that takes a lot of time to work on. But we like to, we don't mind working on classics. Mostly, like I said, average Joe cars. We have done show cars before in the past. That was one of my passions when I was growing up. Loved working on show cars, designing them. My uncle, his name was Artist Shadburn. Super talented in designing the interiors of show cars. He's had one, I think it's one national interior.
And so whenever you say show car, explain to us what that is.
Show car is really super paint job, engine, got a lot of chrome on it. It's probably mostly trailered, not actually driven. There's some really nice ones out there that are everyday drivers, but a show car is a lot of money being put into it. Sometimes it's an old classic. Sometimes it's just maybe a older car. They just want to add some fancy rims to it, but they want to customize the interior. And one of my uncle's philosophies on doing interiors was not to do two the same. Each one had to be unique, and I appreciated that. There were other people in the States that were almost like cookie cutter interiors.
So if you looked at his cars, you may not know it was him. You just know it's really good. Whereas others, you look at it and you say, oh, Bill did that.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Joe did that, right?
Well, yeah, I think there's a place in Tennessee, they all look the same.
Right.
But he liked to make them unique, and that's what I liked, and that's what I wanted to do myself.
You were talking about some kind of tax, and that's how you attach the upholstery early on.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about how that transitioned from what typically you use to do the work and what it may look like now.
Well, of course, the tax were,
Like
I would
you
not
would-
want to do it.
Like
and-
you would see on some your grandma's upholstered chairs, they may have tacks.
Exactly.
Right. That's kinda
Well,
like
right
that.
now we use pneumatic staplers, staple gun.
But what about, did people keep the tacks in their mouth while they were working on it?
Oh, yes, sir.
They did.
They would keep them in their mouth, put a mouthful in. I guess what kids used to do with sunflower seeds today, but they have a mouthful of tacks and get a tack hammer, get the magnetic end of it, get it on there, pop it on there.
And you have some tacks you were going to demonstrate for us today, correct?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but his dentist told him not to do
That's
it.
right.
Right.
Just, and the insurance guy said not to.
That's right. But yeah, thank goodness I'm not in that era. So we use the staple guns. Well, we have hog grain pliers. and we were doing
You'll
work
have to
on this.
Google that to find out what that is.
Oh, hog rings.
Yeah, they'll do it. Google that.
Okay.
Hog ring pliers.
Well, hog ring pliers. Well, hog rings is what would hold
Yeah.
the seat cover on,
Uh-huh.
and we have done one. Actually, I believe we may actually have a demonstration of that in progress. But also, like, we have steam. We use a steamer. With the vinyl, sometimes you have some wrinkles in it. And so we get a steamer, get it all hot, and heat up the vinyl, smooth it out. It makes us look real good.
That's cool.
I wish I could do it to my face, get these wrinkles
know,
out.
yeah.
Right
I know
here.
somebody can help you with that.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Right.
Good,
Okay.
good.
Ask me afterwards.
Yeah.
That is a big part of how we do the work.
All right, so I want to ask you this, Daryl. A business that's been around for 106 years is objectively rare. Even one like this has had to evolve many, many, many times to be still viable over a century later. What exactly do you think went into that? Why exactly do you think that you guys are still around 106 years later, were able to make the evolutionary changes required to adapt to the evolving environment, and so many other businesses have not?
Well, part of the draw in upholstery for me is the ever-changing skill. Cars are constantly changing all the time. So we have to always use our brain, figure things out. And so we are used to change. And so almost we are like the modern day pioneers of sorts, because new cars come out. I mean, doggone, we got seats that are heated, air conditioned, massaged, and sometimes I think you got to be an engineer to work on them. So we got to be able to use our noodle and figure it out. So with that, we try to evolve along, just go with the changes.
So one of the temptations in business is to be resistant to change, to say, hey, this is working for me and my company now. I'm just going to stick with this. It's what I'm hearing you say is the reason that you guys were successful is because you said, no, we've got to adapt. We've got to change, or we're going to be left behind.
That is correct. Yes, sir. We, I mean, that's just part of the business. And if you don't, I mean, there's so many things that have been automated, but there's one thing machines can't do is get behind the sewing machine, make a pattern, sew it up, put it on the seat. And that's the one thing that I really am thankful for, that I was able to learn that trade, to be able to make a cover, cut it out, do a pattern, sew it up.
So Daryl told me, I called him up a few days ago, picked his brain a little bit, but I said, how did you learn how? And tell him what your dad had you do. To learn. How old were you when that happened?
Well, I've been working in the business pretty much all my life. As a kid, I'd go in like the summertime. My grandma says, "Here, boy, here's a broom. Start working." Yes, ma'am. That roof needs the leaves raked off or swept off. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And so during school, while I was in school, just kind of tear the seats apart, put them back on. But when I graduated is when my dad wanted me to take the next step and learn how to sew. And that's a pretty cool thing in our family. About all the men know how to sew. The women, no. Except for my grandma. She really, on my mom's side.
Well, who cooks?
Yes.
Yes.
Grandma and yes.
Everybody.
The ladies are awesome
Right.
cooks. But when I graduated from high school and started working full time, my dad said, you need to learn how to sew. And so the school bus came along. And that was the perfect thing. He said, I want you to do all the seats in that school bus.
So do you have any sayings that your grandfather or your father or your uncle taught you that still ring kind of in your head about, or did y'all ever have any knockdown drag-outs, like fist fights over things or anything like that?
Now, anytime in a family business,
Yeah,
there's going to be some headbutting.
right.
Now, my uncle Artis, him and my grandfather, they never did. Well, they very rarely saw eye to eye, and all the time going at it. And my uncle Artis said, "I'm going to show you. I'm going to join the Navy, and I'm going to see the world." So he joined the Navy, and he saw the world from the bottom of the boat, sewing parachutes for, I guess, troops out there. But we all love each other and want to make sure we do the best we can at everything we do and provide the best product for our customers.
Daryl, we've got a ton of people that watch us on 13 WMAZ. You will be stunned at how many people stop you and say, "Hey, I saw you on Talk of the Town." It happens to us all the time. With that many people watching, inevitably there's someone who is thinking about opening up a business. They kind of feel called, but they're not sure about that next step. What advice would you give to someone who's really considering jumping out on their own and starting their own business?
Honesty. Be honest with your customers. Honesty is the best policy. Do the best you can at everything you do. Provide the best product for your customer at a fair price. Sometimes, we make mistakes. And I own up to it. I said, okay, I tell a customer, yeah, I broke this. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to take care of it. And just being honest with people. This world needs a little more honesty. I just try to treat everybody the same. Give them a fair job at a fair price, and hopefully they will remember that and come back whenever they need another job done.
And speaking of coming back, if someone wants to learn more about Shadburn Upholstery, where should they go?
Come see me.
Come see me. That's right.
Tell them where's your business?
3760 Woodfield Drive, which is off of Mercer.
So what's your phone number here, Daryl?
478-757-1919.
Cool.
The year that we
Fantastic.
started.
1919, that's right. Daryl, we've enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And stay tuned for where me and Dr. Harper might show up next, because you never know where it might be.